So COVID has definitely been interesting this year. So essentially with my position, one thing that I try to do every single day is advocate for social and racial justice. And I think given like the recent climate that and like a lot of events that we've seen in the past, has been a very big topic along with COVID-19. And like although COVID-19 has put a stop to like a lot of the student activities that like you might see on campus, like social and racial justice and like the fight for it never stops, even when there is a pandemic. We also did start up a THON action plan. So the THON action plan is a live document that you can find on thon.org. And essentially, it's a document that outlines all of the current initiatives that the THON community is trying to implement in order to help reach our like social and racial justice goals.
If anything, it's mostly being able to see my co-captains, being able to interact with them in the back of the store. Usually in most years, there's 10 to 12 people in the store casually chatting. I think merchandise is a very close committee. And I think in a normal year, we have a lot of people filling orders. It's a lot easier of a position, I guess, because you have a lot of people helping out. In a COVID sort of year, we only have usually 3-4 max people at the store at a time.
It's difficult when dance groups want to perform in person and singing groups want to perform in person, and there's just like not enough space for everyone to be like 6 feet apart and safe in that space. So we've had to deliver a lot of like kind of bad news where we're like, we're sorry, like we know you want to perform in person, but we just like we can't let you.
This year we've been trying to be more like cognizant of everything that's going on and like not and like being kind of more aware of the global situation and like being less like forward with donors.
There has been definitely less supplies going into this year with some of our big events, including a 5K family carnival, and now even Fun Weekend. We need less and less supplies. I knew that we weren't going to have as many events, and the inventory position wasn't going to be as tasking in that sense. But I knew that our inventory system, did have some work to be done, and we could definitely manage our inventory a little bit better and be more organized. So I saw that lack of events as an opportunity to kind of get a hold onto that inventory system and take this year as kind of a reset year.
Considering all of our meetings were via Zoom this year, it definitely made it harder to kind of understand everyone's vision for how they want their event to look like. And then also establishing guidelines and expectations for us to help them make their event happen. We did request a lot of pre-recorded videos to still ensure that captains still got that experience with making an event and giving it to all kind of relevant parties. So whether that be a water social, generally that's something that happens on stage. However, this year for THON Weekend, this will just be a video, still engaging, still reminding dancers to stay hydrated throughout the weekend, but still kind of upholding that tradition of THON in any way, shape, or form, but more so preserving it in that virtual space.
With not knowing how THON Weekend was going to be, I know in the beginning it was very, I guess, hard because the unknown's always very scary, very like you don't know what's gonna happen, stuff like that. And I'm always someone that like wants to know ahead of time what's gonna happen. I like to plan ahead of time for that. But also I came in with the understanding as to like, even though there's a bunch of unknowns, that there's one thing known, and that is that we can make the most out of this year.
With the use of going virtual, we were really able to crash a lot more organization and committee member meetings, as opposed to like finding a time where we're going to meet them and where we're going to crash their meeting. Whereas like now we were just able to utilize a Zoom link and share our PowerPoints. And I think a lot more organizations and committee members were receptive to that. So, and donor drive users has definitely increased this year because of that.
Well, I think the biggest thing has been the online store. So out of necessity, the online store has had to grow, obviously, to hold all the orders that's been in place this past year. And there's been a lot of really cool things that we have done. We've actually hosted registration for like multiple events on that, like the THON Showcase. You were able to purchase tickets through that. 5K being able to purchase 5K box and being able to track all the people who have purchased stuff through that.
We had something called the Around the World Challenge, where participants downloaded an app called Charity Miles, and they could log the amount of miles they either ran or walked the week leading up to THON, and that could be credited then towards an organization for their total for THON. And it was super awesome. We challenged the THON community to, hence the name Around the World Challenge, run around the world one time. They completely surpass our expectations, as the THON community typically does. And we ran over 57,000 miles, which is over twice around the world.
It provides like a really unique opportunity for the gift card initiative to reach more people, because like everyone's virtual and everyone's using Zoom. We have the opportunity to kind of like reach out to different people, like alumni and Commonwealth campuses that like in the past they might have not been something that we've focused on because it's not in person.
With it being remote, we have a lot more Zoom meetings now, so we get to definitely involve other people who might not be on campus specifically. So it's definitely very inclusive in that factor, that we can definitely have all these people who might not have been able to participate previously to help them participate now. And the more people we have participating, the more ideas we have, the more creative we can be, and the more people we can reach out to and be resourceful.
I do have like a mostly virtual position anyway. Like I mentioned, we did start the webinar series and THON Legacy. I think because we have room to be creative in any year, but we wanted to push to be even more creative this year. So we started those. As well, another large responsibility of donor and alumni relations on weekend is parent tours and donor tours. We've been working on parent presentations. So those will be Saturday of THON weekend. And just kind of they're run by CM, committee members, and they highlight what each committee has done in COVID this year. So we really had to change that, but I'm really excited and think it's going to go really smoothly.
It has really inspired us in other ways to really just strip it down to its bare bones, understand the real mission behind the program is, and how we can rebuild it and reimagine it so that way it's an even better experience for families, to the point where they don't even mind that it's virtual or don't even understand the changes that have potentially been made because it's virtual.
It's just as easy to connect with families as well this year, because everybody is so used to using Zoom. It's much easier to hop on a Zoom call with a family that lives 5-10 hours away than them not being able to come up here for THON weekend maybe. So they're not only getting to talk to us, to interact with us, and we're getting to interact with them, but they're getting the best experience possible, and we're kind of tailoring that experience to a virtual world, which definitely benefits them.